Hello, and welcome to the St. Vincent College Criminology, Law, and Society Information Session. My name is Donna Edmonds, and I'm an Associate Director of Admission at St. Vincent. We are glad that you're joining us today, and we hope that today's presentation gives you a good overview of the Criminology, Law, and Society Department and opportunities for students. Joining us today are two faculty members, Dr. Gary Quinlivan, Dean of the McKenna School of Business, Economics, and Government, and Dr. Eric Koshin, Associate Professor of Criminology, Law, and Society. You may submit a question at any time throughout the presentation by clicking on the Q&A button, which may be found at the top or the bottom of your screen, depending on your device. We will get to your questions during the second part of the presentation. It is now my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Gary Quinlivan.
Welcome to the McKenna School webinar, and we're going to focus on our Criminology, Law, and Society department today. The first thing I want to mention is our rankings, and we've been ranked twice by two different agencies, placing us number 2 in Pennsylvania. But take a look at these rankings. You're ranked by Zippia, this is 2019, number 2 in Pennsylvania. And the rankings are based on outcomes, which is why I like these rankings. So it's based on median earnings after 6 years, 10 years, criminology emphasis in a percentage of graduating class that are criminology majors, and school performance. So this is important. Number 2, you're just ranked 2020 this year by Best Colleges Grad Reports. And we were ranked not only number 2 in Pennsylvania, but number 24 in the entire United States. There's a reason why we're so good in criminology at St. Vincent College. It has to do with our faculty. We've got an outstanding faculty. See at the top, I've got the chair, Dr. Bruce Ankoviak, former SVC graduate too, Harvard Law School, magna cum laude, incredible. He's a former federal prosecutor. He knows his criminology incredibly well. Then we've got a chain of 3 PhDs in criminology. Dr. Sarah Daly, she emphasizes her research on school violence and mass shootings. Dr. Jakimowski, she's our quant, she does our stats, and also does a lot of studies in criminology, mental illness, and juvenile justice. And then there's Dr. Eric Koshin, and Dr. Eric Koshin is with us today. Now, he's got a PhD from Indiana University. He directs our OTC program. He's a former FBI, trained as a special agent, former U.S. Marine, incredible individual, well published. So let me introduce to you Dr. Eric Koshin.
Hello there, and thank you for the opportunity to share our Criminology, Law, and Society program with you all today. As Dr. Quinlivan said, I did my PhD at the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Taught there for a while at Slippery Rock, and then was hired as a special agent with the FBI. When I left the FBI, I had several opportunities at a variety of institutions and colleges, and selected St. Vincent because of the foundation that they were laying with their program. Our program is very much student-oriented, where everything that we have regarding our courses, the coursework, is geared towards preparing the student for their life after St. Vincent College. And our students leave St. Vincent College and go into a variety of fields. They go into the law field. We have several applicants that are working for the Pennsylvania State Police. We have several applicants that go on to graduate schools. Some of our applicants are actually working in federal agencies, one being the FBI, not as a special agent, because in order to be a special agent with the FBI, you must acquire at least 30 years of life and also have experience in the field. But we have several people that are working in support positions with the FBI. We have a very, very strong program where we employ our students to do research. I'm working on the addiction epidemic in southwestern Pennsylvania and throughout the country, and use students to serve as research assistants. I train them using FBI techniques that I learned in Quantico, and then we interview people at various stages of addiction and recovery, from jails to Narcotics Anonymous meetings to the Day Reporting Center, and we provide our information to the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, the DEA, and a variety of local and state agencies to help them better deal with this epidemic. I will be most certainly answering questions about that as we move forward, but that's just a brief capsule of what we do at St. Vincent College with our criminology program, and I welcome you.
Okay, students, now is the time to jot those questions and get those to us. I am going to get started. I do have one that has already come in, and this is coming in from John. John is asking about an ROTC program at St. Vincent. He said he is interested in ROTC. Are there any opportunities at St. Vincent College?
John, that's a great question. St. Vincent College is a Air Force ROTC school and also an Army ROTC school. And it just so happens that I am the ROTC coordinator for both of those programs, meaning if a student acquires a scholarship from the Air Force or the Army, and these are national merit-based scholarships, they can use that scholarship at St. Vincent College. And their entire education is paid for, including room and board, including books, including a little stipend as well. They complete their education at St. Vincent College. We have a great program where we have a wonderful relationship with our sister schools and our brother schools in the area. And upon graduating from St. Vincent College, they receive a commission in either the Air Force or the Army as an officer. And they serve that time in the military to help pay back what was given to them. They are obviously in leadership roles within the military, and they do one class per semester during their time at St. Vincent College, and are expected to obviously maintain a certain grade point average and certain physical fitness standards as well. But we have a fantastic program, and we have several students that are on full scholarship right now in our ROTC program at St. Vincent College. So we have a tremendous relationship with the Air Force ROTC and the Army ROTC. And if you do not have a scholarship entering St. Vincent College, there are ways to acquire one through the Army and the Air Force while they are here. That is an excellent question.
Great, thank you so much for that answer. We do get that question quite a bit from prospective students. I have another question coming in, and this is from Sam. He's interested in possibly getting a job at the state police. Are there opportunities for students to get into the state police after they graduate from St. Vincent?
Sam, thank you for that question. That too is another good question. We pump out a number of Pennsylvania State Police recruits every year. Our program is very much geared towards having students learn how to properly write, articulate their thoughts, and also read. Our students are very well read. So with the Pennsylvania State Police, the West Virginia State Police, Ohio, and a litany of other agencies for law enforcement, our students do exceptionally well in the application process. With every law enforcement agency, whether it be federal, state, or local, the first step is usually a written type examination that requires reading skills, comprehension skills, logical reasoning. Our students, because of their educational background that they get from St. Vincent College, score exceptionally well on that first phase of the testing. And then with most agencies or organization, stage 2 requires that they go for some type of oral examination where they are given scenario-based questions. And again, because our discipline and our professors have such a profound impact and a variety of course requirements that require them to speak and articulate their thoughts and findings on a case, on a theory, or a specific crime that they're researching, they do wonderful when they get to that part of the application process and then progress on to the physical fitness test, the psychological test, the background investigation. So we pump out a tremendous number of state police cadets every year. Pennsylvania has at least a platoon of our former students. Our program started in 2011, so we're relatively new, and we have put out well over 25 state police troopers who are on the road right now in Pennsylvania. That's not counting the other surrounding states as well. So if someone is looking for a law enforcement type job when they leave, St. Vincent is most certainly the place to go. And just one other caveat, A lot of law enforcement agencies require only 60 credits before they can take the test, the written test. Pennsylvania State Police is in that category right now as well. So we encourage our students when they hit their junior year or their senior year to start testing and to take that test just to get a little bit of practice. And they are welcome to come to my office and talk about how to better prepare for that written and that oral examination while they're at St. Vincent College.
Great, thank you, Dr. Koshin. That was an excellent answer. We now have a question coming in from Jordan, and Jordan is wondering, are internships required at St. Vincent to graduate?
Again, Jordan, thanks for joining us today. Internships are not technically required for our criminology program, although we highly encourage students to do internships, preferably in their junior and or senior year. Most of our students do select an internship to do, and that helps them in deciphering and discerning what career path to take. We have a number of students that do internships with the local police departments in the area or with the police departments from their hometown. We have students that do internships with the Detectives Bureau in Westmoreland County. We have students that do internships with the Public Defender's Office, the Prosecutor's Office, private attorneys. We have students that do internships with the U.S. Attorney's Office. And we have just made contact with several federal agencies about the possibility of doing internships. One of those federal agencies, the ATF, contacted us this week because they know about our students and they're looking for our, really the cream of the crop from our program to do an internship with the ATF in Pittsburgh. So internships are not required, but I would say at least 80 to 90% of the students do at least one internship during their tenure at St. Vincent College.
That's really great to know there are so many opportunities for our students. I have a question here from Cindy, who would like to know, are there any graduate programs available for students interested in CLS?
Yeah, Cindy, that's a really good question. That's probably something I should have mentioned when I was giving my introduction. I think 3 years ago, we started a master's program at St. Vincent College. And in 2011, when this program was put together, just before I arrived from the FBI, the undergraduate coordinator, Bruce Ankowiak, and one of our adjunct professors, Michael Kuhar, discussed the idea of doing a master's program sooner than later. And the idea is that we want our students to really achieve levels of leadership and higher positions within whatever agency or entity they're working. And a master's degree really is a fast track for that. Our master's is, like I said, 3 or 4 years old, and we have students who complete their undergraduate degree and their master's degree within 4.5 years. Now, so those students are taking summer classes. Those students are taking a full course load in the fall and spring semesters. But in the 4.5 years where most people are only acquiring an undergraduate degree, these students are acquiring a master's degree. And they are much more marketable when they leave St. Vincent College. And they are achieving higher positions within local, state, and federal agencies and departments. Some of our success stories from that master's program include full scholarships to places like the University of Omaha, Nebraska, Florida State, a variety of other Florida schools. Some of our students stay that extra year and acquire their master's degree and then move on to law schools. We have students who left the master's program and got tremendous offers from the top tier law institutions within the country, including Michigan. So our master's program is really a high speed, low drag program. It is very, again, like our undergraduate program, student oriented. Most of the classes are in the evenings, 1 night a week, and you can get through that master's program within 1 calendar year at the most. If you are a overachieving and hard charging undergrad, you can most certainly get your master's degree within 4.5 years and really distance yourself from the other applicants when you hit the workforce.
That sounds like an excellent opportunity for students. you've already discussed a little bit about the placement for students coming out of St. Vincent. Could you elaborate a little bit more about where some of your students end up after they complete their degrees at St. Vincent?
Well, Dawn, it seems as though with this COVID-19, I've had a little bit more opportunity to touch base with some of our former graduates. And I just spoke to at least a dozen people this past week, either through text message or through phone call, to see how they're doing and where they are. We have several students that have left St. Vincent College and gone on to great military careers. Now, these students were not in the ROTC programs while they were here, but some of them are doing different things with investigative services with the military right now. We have students that are going on to private security positions. A tremendous number of students go on to law enforcement positions within the state police for various states. We have individuals that are on the force right now with the Pittsburgh Police Department. We have students that go into, as we've mentioned before, law programs, master's programs. And we have other students that are doing things with regarding drug and alcohol counseling, or they're going on to do different things with probation and corrections. Our placement rate is very, very good with regards to students that leave St. Vincent College. Again, our program is not really the default program that some other institutions are. In other schools, if you can't do psychology or you can't do business, the fallback is usually criminology or criminal justice for their schools. Our program is not like that. Every one of the professors have real world work experience. We are not really academics. We kind of live amongst them, and we know what students need to succeed in the real world. And we provide those lessons and those opportunities for students who want to do something positive in the world. And in today's world, especially with this discipline, we really can't afford to have students that aren't educated, that aren't able to relate to the problems and the sufferings of others, that aren't able to communicate effectively with others. We can't have students in the field that aren't of great integrity and understand the importance of value and honesty and truthfulness. This program is in dire need of great professionals. And at St. Vincent College, they really have the opportunity to go through that training camp of sorts for 4 years. So when they leave, they enter into those great aspirations that they had as their high school students, and we ask them what they want to do when they leave. So we really, we do our best to prepare students to help them get to where they dream of getting.
Definitely sounds like an exciting program. I have time for just about one more question, and I wanted to ask this question that's come in. How, in light of the COVID-19 situation all around the world, how have classes been run at St. Vincent during this time?
I do some consultation work elsewhere. I do some adjunct teaching elsewhere, some guest lecturing elsewhere as well because of the addiction work that I'm doing. And I can tell you at St. Vincent College, they're doing it the right way. We transitioned to video conferencing with our department and the institution as a whole. We do online discussions. We do a number of conference calls, email correspondence. We are constantly in contact with our students to ensure that they're getting that valuable insight and information that is needed. Other institutions, and not to disparage them, many of them have kind of packed up and maybe taken this as an early vacation, and that's faculty and students. But in our department, in our school, and at St. Vincent College as a whole, I have seen nothing but a reinforced commitment and a doubling down to get the information to students. We have students that don't have necessarily computers or laptops to do the work. We lend students computers. We are in constant correspondence. If I see students are not responding or completing the assignments on time, I reach out to them to ensure that they are, number one, healthy, and number two, staying focused on getting through this difficult time. And I know that we're all hoping and praying that this pandemic stops and decreases soon and we get back to some sense of normalcy. But if in the event we don't, St. Vincent seems to be more prepared and better equipped to handle this with the student population than any other institution that I've seen. And I'm quite proud to say I'm a part of that because, Again, we have a number of people that are professionals who have been in the field and realize that there will be obstacles, there will be hurdles that we have to negotiate. And they make a commitment to the students to best ensure that we're getting the information they need so that when they leave, they are competent, they are capable, and they are confident in their endeavors. I could not be more proud to be at St. Vincent College during this difficult time.
Thank you so much for all those insights that you've shared with us. We did actually get an extra question that's just come in. This one is coming in from Stephen, and I wanted to make sure we had a chance to ask you, are there opportunities for students to do research while they're at St. Vincent?
Stephen, that's a great question. And every year I've been doing research on the opioid epidemic. And as I mentioned in my little brief intro, I use students who are at the top of their game, and I train them using, as I said, FBI techniques. We meet on Saturdays. We meet in the evenings. We meet before class begins, sometimes at 7 a.m. in an empty classroom. And I teach them how best to interact with people who are struggling with addiction or any issue for that matter. And a lot of it comes down to developing people skills. And I need good people to help me do this research. I interview anywhere between 200 and 300 people for every iteration of the study that I do. I cannot do 300 interviews by myself, 300 clinical interviews with people at different stages of addiction. So I need and I rely on our good students at St. Vincent College. And I have trained 3 different cohorts of students to help me with these interviews. And they have gone on, as I said before, to great and wonderful endeavors, not because of this research opportunity, but it doesn't hurt them either. And I need students to help me with the research. My colleague, Dr. Sarah Daly, does a lot of research on school violence and mass shootings. Dr. Kayla Jakimowski does a lot of research on mental health calls and the disconnect between mental health and law enforcement responses at times. Our chairperson is Bruce Ankowiak. He is our legal counsel for the entire St. Vincent College. He was a law professor for a decade at Duquesne and a Harvard graduate, as you heard Dr. Quinlivan say. Dr. Ankowiak still works capital cases. He still is sought out for legal advice on a daily and weekly basis. He has a radio show that he is a part of. He is on television and the newspapers. And a lot of those cases that he's consulting on, he needs student researchers to look up cases, to look up precedent, and help brief him so he can make an intelligent response to whoever is asking him for advice and guidance. All the professors in the criminology department utilize student help to get our research interest accomplished. Additionally, the last semester of their senior year, they have a capstone project where they themselves choose any topic that they're interested in and become an expert in that topic, whether it's something with Homeland Security, whether it's something with spousal abuse, whether it's something with drug crimes, whether it's something with domestic terror threats. Whatever that student is interested in, we help them complete their capstone research project so that when they leave here, they can say in an interview, I'm an expert in this area. I spent 15 weeks or 30 weeks studying this topic. And this is why I'm a great fit for your company or your organization, because I have cutting edge information that most people haven't even heard of before.
I'm really glad we got a chance to get that question in. Thank you so much, Dr. Koshin. Thank you, Dr. Quinlivan. You both shared some wonderful information about the criminology programs at St. Vincent College. And I know that you're ready to connect with our prospective students on an individual basis. So students, don't hesitate to contact the admission office or your personal admission counselor to help make this happen. For any prospective seniors out there who have not made an admission decision for the fall, we are accepting reservation deposits by mail or securely online at stvincent.edu/deposit. We certainly hope that you plan to become a St. Vincent College Bearcat. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to welcoming you to campus soon.